The voice followed me everywhere, not just in the night, but in the quiet, vulnerable moments between thoughts. The vines in my backyard won't stop growing. Part 2. After that first dream, I tried to live my life the same way I always did. I drove to work. I sat at my desk. I stared at spreadsheets glowing pale on the monitor. Everything should have felt normal, but something was off, because beneath the hum of office lights, beneath the tapping of keys, beneath every breath I took, a whisper threaded through my mind. Dig. It didn't interrupt my thoughts. It seeped through them like water leaking through cracks, gentle, persistent, wrong. Every time I blinked, I could almost see the figure behind my eyelids, still patient, waiting. Every time I exhaled, I smelled faint traces of damp dirt and sweet flowers, the scent from my dream lingering where it did not belong. When I got home, I tried to prove to myself that none of it mattered. I walked into the backyard, stood over the patch of grass the figure had pointed at, and forced myself to laugh. "Why would I dig here?" I said aloud, almost pleading with my own logic. "It was just a dream. It'll go away. It always does." But the wind that moved through the leaves felt like breath on my neck. Over the next week the dreams returned. The figure always came, sometimes at the edge of the forest, its outline barely visible behind the curtain of kudzu, sometimes halfway across the yard, close enough that I swore I saw its head tilt, and then eventually at my bedside. Each night it drew nearer, its presence heavy and ancient, its floral scent saturating the air until I woke dizzy and disoriented, unsure where the dream ended and reality began. Every dawn, the whisper lingered. Dig. I tried to pretend nothing was wrong, but with each day resisting grew harder. My thoughts felt knotted. My focus at work slipped. I nearly drifted into oncoming traffic twice. Even simple conversations felt like shadows, nothing staying in my grip long enough to matter. Creed came by to chat, but I could barely listen. His words bounced off a mind already occupied by a voice not his. I began asking myself questions I knew were dangerous. What if something important is down there? What if this is meant for me? What if this is the first remarkable thing to ever happen in my life? And beneath those thoughts was the truth I didn't want to admit. I was afraid the whisper was the only thing that had ever wanted anything from me. Still, I resisted, until the night resistance finally slipped. I found myself inside the hardware store, standing in the shovel aisle, fingers curled around a wooden handle before I realized I'd even walked in. The lights hummed overhead. The store was nearly empty. And for a moment it felt like the world had funneled me into this one aisle, toward this one choice. What the hell? I breathed. A little digging won't hurt. But the shiver down my spine felt like triumph, not hesitation. By the time I reached my backyard, night had settled softly over the grass. The porch light cast a pale halo, and lightning bugs drifted through the dark like wandering spirits. Their tiny bodies blinked in trembling patterns, gathering near the spot from my dream. Were they urging me forward, or trying to stop me? I chose to believe they were guiding me. The shovel felt heavy in my hands, real, solid, inevitable. I raised it, exhaled, and drove it into the soil. The earth parted, and pleasure, warm, electric, intoxicating, poured up through my arms and spilled into my chest. It stole the breath from my lungs. My vision blurred at the edges. I staggered, gasping, and then struck the earth again. Each plunge, each shift of dirt, each gritty scrape of metal against soil sent another wave rolling over me, sweeter than anything I'd ever known. I dug faster, deeper, whispering with the rhythm of the shovel. Dig, dig, dig. The fireflies scattered all at once, their glow vanishing like candles snuffed out. I didn't notice. The earth was holding me, wanting me. At some point, I don't know when, my muscles gave out. I collapsed at the edge of the shallow pit, trembling. My lungs burned, my fingers ached, and yet a strange satisfaction pulsed through me like a heartbeat. I stumbled inside, fell into bed, and slept with a depth I hadn't felt in years. When morning came, I felt alive. My blood ran brighter, my thoughts sharper. My reflection in the mirror looked better, not different exactly, just clearer, like the man in the glass had stepped forward while the old me faded behind him. At work, conversations came easier. Andrew clapped me on the back like we were long-time friends. Sarah smiled as though she'd been waiting to talk to me. Even my boss seemed lighter around me. For the first time, I felt seen, chosen, wanted. But like all gifts from strange places, the blessing faded. Slowly, day by day, the spark drained from me. People turned away again. My voice lost its shine, my nerves frayed, the office returned to its cold neutrality, and the whisper, it came back stronger. Dig, I heard it in the hum of the AC, in the idle scuff of shoes, in every moment of quiet. At night, I'd feel something watching from the tree line, the same eyes from my dreams, the same slow breathing presence. Fireflies gathered in bright clusters outside my window, pulsing like warning beacons. Creed came by one evening and watched them flicker. Fireflies mean protection, he said softly. Old Appalachian tale. They fight off bad spirits. His tone lingered in my mind. But the other voice lingered louder. Dig. I returned to the yard. As soon as the shovel pierced the dirt, the pleasure returned, sweet, overwhelming, familiar. Hours vanished as I dug, the world shrinking to the rhythm of metal and earth. When dawn broke, I was curled at the bottom of the pit again, soil caked to my skin. But I woke feeling whole. Over the next days, my life soared again, sharper, brighter, louder than before. Creed laughed with me. Sarah lingered near me. People listened when I spoke, so I dug. Every night, deeper, longer, farther. The hole became my secret pulse, the source of everything good in my life. And then, it hardened. The earth turned solid, dead. Each strike hurt, each movement failed. My strength crumbled, my charm faded. Sarah drifted away. People grew cold, exhaustion clawed through me. The hole had stopped giving, and I began to feel like nothing again. One night, after a long day of disappointment, I stepped through my back gate and froze. It was open. I never leave it open. My stomach twisted as I turned the corner of the house, and there he was, Creed, standing at the edge of my hole, staring into the dark, his hands trembling through his thinning blonde hair. He didn't look back. He didn't need to. His voice was hollow, brittle, shaking. Why didn't you tell me? He swallowed hard. That you heard the kudzu grow too. Follow for part 3.